Happy Tuesday, Stampers. This is Barb Reed, the Wexford Stamper, and I have another great project for this evening. Hope everyone is doing well, and as you come on in, make sure that you are commenting in the text box, and I know that you are here. So, we are on to week 2 of my Valentine's Day treat box series. My video from last week is on my YouTube channel, and I will also link it to the end of this video on YouTube so that we will have both of them. Hi, Renee. Happy Tuesday. If you don't already, make sure that you request from me, I'm your demonstrator, or if you need a demonstrator. The new mini catalog from Stampin' Up! Has just gone live about a little less than a week ago, and it is celebration time. So between now and the end of February, for every $50 you spend in the mini catalog or in the annual catalog, you can pick a free item out of the celebration brochure. And there's some really great things. There's paper, there's stamps, there's dies, lots of great things. So if you don't have a catalog and a brochure, please message me and I'll make sure you get those because you're going to love all the great new product. Hello, Deb. Nice to see you guys. All right. As always, there will be a PDF for this project on my blog following this live stream. Hey there, Jean. Excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me take a drink. There we go. Feeling better? Sorry about that, gals. Our box tonight has a Russell Stover strawberry cream heart in it. If you saw my tutorial from last week, I showed you that this was what I was going to design my box for. These are available at your local grocery store. I got them 2 for $1. Russell Stover's is a great candy company, and I can vouch for the deliciousness of this great little Valentine treat. All right, so this is the box we're going to be making again tonight. Let's just go over the products that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the same suite we talked about last week, and that includes the Sweet Conversations stamp set. Really, I know. I don't know what my problem is today, Renee. Choking on nothing. And then there are always some coordinating dies that go with it. This one has the cute little envelope die that I have. Oh, always. And then there's some cute paper. The Designer Series paper is so cute and really brings up really kind of shouts out conversation hearts. I used to love those and ate those as a kid, and that's really what I think of when I think of this suite. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our project for this evening. All right, we are going to start with a piece of cardstock. This is Highland Heather, but of course you can pick any of the coordinating colors in this suite. I chose the Highland Heather, but there's a lot of great ones. I used the Blushing Bride last week. So lots of colors to pick for your box. All right, this piece of cardstock is cut at 8 inches by 7.5. Okay. Let's put it in on the long side first, and that's the 8-inch side. And on the 8-inch side, I'm going to score at 3/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch, 4.5, 7.5. All right, remember all the dimensions will be on my blog, and there will be a downloadable PDF that you can download and print for yourself. This is the short side, or the 7.5 inch side. We're gonna start at 3/4, 4 3/4, 5.5. All right, those are all we need for our score lines this evening. I'm going to grab the template. Now remember, I will put a picture of this template on the blog so you can see, and it'll help you guide you in your cutting when you have to cut away your excess cardstock. But this box is going to have a flap over the front. So this is the top of the box, and then there's a long flap that goes over the top. So let's go ahead and grab my bone folder, and we're just going to fold up on all the score lines. Hope everyone is trying to stay warm. It was wicked cold out there today, and I am not a winter person, so I'm not a happy camper today. But I can always just kind of look on the bright side and say we're that much closer to spring. Just gonna knock these winter days out, and it'll be getting warm before we know it. All right, there we go. I used my bone folder and I creased on all my score lines. All right, I'm gonna grab my scissors now, and you're gonna notice, and I want you to put it so that along the right side is that 1/2 inch strip. Okay, that score at the 1/2 inch. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut off that tiny little square right at the bottom. Okay, then we're going to go ahead up here and we're going to cut off these 2 up here, because this is going to be the flap, so we don't need this thin rectangle here along the side. The only thing we need along the side here is this portion, because that's where we're going to put our piece of tear and tape to close the box. Okay, you're right, Jean, stay inside. All right, then we're gonna go ahead. This is the bottom, so I'm gonna create my 2 little flaps here, cutting up to the first horizontal score line, then cutting some little snips to make the tab. So there's my 2 tabs there. Okay, now let's go up. This is going to be the top of our box. This top portion is going to be the flap that flaps over. So first thing we're going to do is kind of cut out the little tabs on the top part of the box. So we're going to have to cut down these vertical score lines, this time to the second horizontal. Do the same thing here. Okay, so we're going to cut these little tabs out, just like we did at the bottom, but we have to cut that little extra section off so that we can make the tab on the top. All right, so there are the 2 tabs on the top. Now, since I said this one is going to be the panel that flaps over to the front of the box, then this one we have to cut off. So the best way to do that is to turn your paper this way, fold back your little tab, and then just cut up along this score line like that. Okay, so that is completed. That's all you have to do to make your box. There's the template there that we started with, and here is what we have. Okay, now before we go ahead and put our box together, I'd like to take time to go ahead and put our designer series paper on. And I chose a different one than it is on this box here, which is a very, very cute design. I'm going to use this one. Okay, there's a really cute little purple stripe. So you're going to need 2 of these panels. And these are cut at 3 7/8 by 2 7/8. And you want to make sure that you're cutting them in portrait mode, so that the short side is along the top, long side is along the side for your orientation of your pieces. And then you're going to cut one that is cut at 2 7/8 by 1 7/8. Okay, so that's all the paper you're going to need. All right, so what I did is I turned this over. This is the outside of the box now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Tombow and I'm going to glue these 2 panels. So we're going to have one large panel on the back and one large panel on the front. Yeah, the colors in this whole Sweet Renee are so pretty. I've always loved purple. So when I saw that they added purple to the palette for the Valentine suite, I was all in for sure, but they've got yellows, they've got a little granny apple green, real red, blushing bride. So they hit a lot of the great colors. All right, so the base of this, the card box, the cardstock from the box could be so many different colors here. So there we have it. Those are our 2 large panels. Okay, now let's turn this over here, and remember that this is going to be folding over this way. So we want to make sure that we put our piece on the correct way. And if you look at it, it's going to kind of be opposite or upside down compared to the other piece. So make sure that you think about the orientation, because it's going to flop over in the front and will be upside down compared to the other ones. Now I'm going to bring in my detailed trio punch. Love this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on the flap that's going to flap over, just to make it look a little fancier. You don't have to do that, but I love doing that. Then if we're going to place this piece on here, we're going to have to put this one on the detailed trio punch as well. There we go. Got to make sure it's all the way in there before you start punching. There we go. So now that I've punched the bottom edges of this panel, I can go ahead and take my Tombow and stick that right to there. Okay, great. All right, last thing we're going to do, we're going to bring in the detailed trio punch again. And I know you haven't, many of you may have never seen me use this one, but this one here is a little hole that you can punch to put a hole in a box or in a card that you can run a piece of ribbon through. And that's what we're going to do. So this goes straight in. You're going to put in these, on this one you put in the corners first, but this one you go straight in like that, and you line it up, and then you just, and then it creates a little hole there for your ribbon to go through. You can always use a paper punch if you want to, but I just like using it since I have the detailed trio punch. All right, I think we are ready to assemble our box now. Okay, we're gonna look back here at the thin little flap that we cut away all the other parts. This is the 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of tear and tape on there. Take my pick tool and just go ahead and remove that backing. Okay, now the best way to do this is to lay it back down with the outside down and then just fold the layers in. See, there's our sticky strip. And while it's laying flat, you can fold over the side, and you know that it will be adhered right where you want it to be, so you have a nice square box. All right, so I'm going to turn it upside down now, and I'm going to put in my 2 small flaps. Now, since this is the front of our box, the front bottom flap is going to be the last one that goes down, so we have that nice folded edge showing on the front. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Tombow again. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on there. Turn it upside down. Grab my bone folder to push down a little bit on the bottom. And see, now you have that nice folded edge showing on the front. Let me cut a little bit of the tops of those. There we go, that's a little better. All right, so now I'm gonna bring in my strawberry chocolate, and that's gonna go right into my box. Okay, and then the top is gonna fold right over. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our ribbon in. Okay, and this is ribbon that's also part of the suite. This is faux linen ribbon. and really nice and soft, easy to tie. I'm going to take a nice big piece of that, and I'll show you how we're going to tie this box shut. Okay, we're going to start at the front. Yeah, I love mine too. It's so great. Hey, Lisa. Hey, better late than never, right? Okay, I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to go up underneath the flap and through to the top of the flap. Just like that. Then the bottom section, I'm going to wrap all the way around the box and bring it back around to the front. And then I'm going to tie my bow just above the hole that I created with the detailed trio punch. Okay, so it went all the way around the box. And now here's the hole, and I'm going to do my best to tie a nice bow right above that hole. Wish me luck. At least this time I won't have ribbon that's too short, because that's always a disaster. Ooh, this might be okay. I always, just because I like it to look perfect, I like to do a little bit of fluffing and floofing, I guess, with my bow till I get it just like I like it. And it's probably should just let it alone after a while, but you know I can't do that. All right, so now let me make that one a little shorter. That's better. Okay, I'm going to open it again and try. I let it get a little too, you can see the flap is up off the front a little bit more than I'd like. So I'd like that to stay flat down on the front of the box. So that means I need to try to hold the flap down while I'm tying. Let's see if I did better this time. Not much better. Let's see. See. All right, here we go. This is the time. It's happening. It's happening. All right. Sadly, that's better. The college football season is over, so I'm going to have to just watch a little bit of pro. But football season's almost over, but I kind of wanted both of them to lose last night while I was watching, but, you know, they can't do that. So, Georgia Bulldogs beat Bama. So, all right. So, let's go ahead and cut this and stop the floofing. There we go. All right. For my last little, there we go. For my last little decoration, I am going to go ahead and make these cute little hearts down here at the bottom. Now what I did, I just cut out one of the hearts using the heart die in Blushing Bride. Okay, now the next one I'm going to have to do some stamping, and this stamping requires a little bit of embossing as well. So we're going to do a little embossing. I'm going to use the little heart that says "You are cute." And I'm going to bring in my Highland Heather paper. I'm going to be using some Versamark because that is the ink we use when we are doing our embossing, because it's kind of like a glue, and it's going to put down the pattern from the ink stamp, but it's going to be a sticky kind of ink. And then when we put the embossing powder, it'll go just where we like it. All right, so I used my Versamark. Let me see if I can bring it up here so you can see a little bit better. See, there he is. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and grab my white embossing powder. Now this is a great way to get the static off of your cardstock. They no longer sell these as Stampin' Up, but if you would like one, I could give you the link on Amazon to get one. But they're great for getting the static away so that the embossing powder won't stick anywhere except where it's supposed to. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold my little heart over the container and just put a little scoop of the embossing powder on there. Okay, so now that ink is covered with the embossing powder. All right, now I'm going to grab my heat tool and we're going to go ahead and do our embossing. So hope this isn't going to be too noisy, but let's watch how this changes. It just warms up the powder and melts it. Oop, there I can see it starting to change. It gets really, really shiny. That was a quick one because it's a nice thin line. But look how that really makes that stand out now. Isn't that look great? Just really adds to it using that embossing powder rather than just plain ink. All right, now, next thing I gotta do is use that die to cut out my heart. All right, I'm gonna move my scissors, grab my cut and emboss machine. Let's turn it this way so I have my handle on this side. There we go. Here is the die that I used to cut out the blushing bride heart. Now I'm gonna cut this one out. Okay, now, oops, sorry, I bumped. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. Now this is such a small die. I really felt I get a better result if I use the Post-it tape to hold it in place. Because after a lot of die cutting, sometimes your cutting pads are not perfectly straight anymore. They start bowing, so the die wants to slide a little bit. But if you use the Post-it tape, it's going to hold it in position. You don't have to worry about it die cutting off where you want it to be. This is the Post-it tape. You can get it at any office supply store or Amazon, of course. And I just have this on hand all the time for those that are a little bit more challenging to cut out. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and put my second plate on top and we're going to run it through. Wow, that is really a great job working with the Georgia Strength and Conditioning Program. Wow, that's amazing. All right, so there you have it. So when you use the tape, it doesn't move so much and you don't have to go through and see it move and then have to make a whole bunch more until you get it. So that Post-it tape is wonderful stuff. All right, let's go ahead and bring the box back in now. And before we adhere it to the box, we're going to put our two hearts and glue those together. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the right side here of the heart, of the blushing bride heart. And then I'm just going to put this one on top, just like that. And then make that little embellishment that's going to go on top. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And I'm going to put one on the back of our box. And then I'm just going to put it here at the bottom. Just like that. And there it is. Pretty easy, huh? I'm not sure which of those papers I like more. They're both pretty cute. Let me move this knot up a little more. It looks like I put that bow a little higher. There we go. Okay, but I do like using the hole in the top flap. It's just a different way to close it. So it's a very, very simple box. And remember, if you are interested, there is a downloadable PDF right on my blog. And this is my second in the series for the Valentine treat boxes. I hope you guys are starting to make your plans on what you're going to make for your Valentine friends. So tune in next Tuesday as well, and I will have another great box to share with you. So take care and have a wonderful week. And don't forget to keep on stamping. Bye-bye now.